Bouffons are in the lead, winning their map pick Fracture. Coming up next is going to be Haven, and it seems where BONK is most comfortable. Although Fracture was quite a close game, MP Haven, if anything, considering it was BONK's map pick, could go either way. BONK's way?
Yeah, I think BONK, they have a decent claim in Haven. It's obviously their map pick. They're comfortable with that. But Les Petits Bouffons, I don't think they're anywhere close to being bad at this map. I think they're actually decent. They won 13-5 against Vamonos. I think that's one of the only places that I would look for. Obviously, they played it in like the division finals against Barbers and all of that. But I think in terms of recency bias and having kind of same level playing field, I think that Vamonos win is definitely something to credit Les Petits Bouffons for. But then you have BONK, who has won against Focus and Vamonos pretty convincingly, and I think they definitely have the strength in terms of CHIWA just being amazing. He's always a menace on the attacking side, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see this time around as well.
As much as we like to highlight CHIWA as potentially like being one of those players that are very difficult to deal with on the attacking side, I think what's also really important to take into consideration here is that maybe on Fracture it felt like it was a little bit luster, not just from the side of CHIWA, but it felt like BONK in general, like we saw a little bit of miscommunication. We saw that they were calling for a lot of saves. So it comes down to, is Fracture the map that they're not the most comfortable with? Or is it just maybe today is one of those days where they're not in tip-top shape and form? Yeah,
that could be definitely a thing. I think in terms of like the later stages of Fracture, I think they had a great showing in few of these rounds. I think it's definitely Kicks not being on the most comfortable agent, and I think BONK, they were struggling a bit. They had this momentum spurs of 3 rounds, and they were able to win out some rounds, have a decent, like really good looking actually attacking side as well from time to time. But I think there was a struggle in terms of grasping or getting the control of the whole game in terms of momentum and just being able to capitalize off of those 3 rounds, maybe go for that snowball, get more rounds on the board. And I think in terms of that, Les Petits Bouffons was really good to take a timeout and come back from those situations where BONK was able to get a few rounds on the board as well. So I think Haven is definitely one of those maps that BONK will feel more comfortable in terms of getting that extra lead and holding that lead. Yeah. But it's interesting to see whether they can actually close it out.
Yeah, but again, as much as they might be feeling comfortable to get that lead, again, it's a team like the Bouffons that they're going up against. They've already proven what they can do on Fracture. Now we're going to be moving on to Haven. And yes, we've only seen them play it once, but again, it was quite a convincing map. And it's also one of those maps where every single player is already very comfortable on that map. That map's been around for like years at this point. It's funny that we can say that about Valorant. Doesn't feel like it's that old, but it has been around for years. So a lot of these players have a lot of set plays and they just have a lot of practice on this map specifically. So sure, you're throwing Haven at them, but realistically, how much is that going to impact them? And I think when we're talking about momentum, that might not be a topic to be discussing here simply because of how close last game was. If anything, the Bouffons could be just like really beating themselves up for the results of that game, because some of the rounds we thought were in the bag by Les Petits Bouffons were not. Heading into this, BONK is switching it up though. They are going for extra flashes. Happy to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was definitely one of the worst parts of the comp, that they didn't quite have any more flashes than the Paranoia. They're keeping it the same composition that they have played already in this season. Les Petits Bouffons, on the other hand, they are going for a different approach. They played with this composition against Vamonos, but they're not going for that race on the side of BONK. They obviously have Chusu, who is really comfortable with that, but Laza, I feel like he thrives on the jet, and when you see the race on the side of Les Petits Bouffons, it's usually Link who picks it up. So definitely a good distinction to make here. Gray more comfortable with the Killjoy, obviously brings more in terms of the utility of lockdown for the team, but it's going to be interesting to see whether they can utilize that to the max, and whether CHIWA, especially starting now on the attacking side, can he be the Torn on the side? Can he have those lurks? Can he find those rotation picks through B, through Garage? I think that's key part to see for the side of BONK.
How influential is CHIWA going to be this game? I think that's the question that we're both asking ourselves, and I'm looking to see how that is going to be playing out. We're starting off on the attack, so some might say where CHIWA feels at home most. But a quick push onto A side. Again, we said it last time, a lot of the times it felt like these players were going onto site and they're fully aware of where some of that utility is available, therefore completely negating it. And there's a turret, there's some damage done to Cider, but the entire setup that Cray had besides that turret had immediately been removed.
Yeah, now they have a perfect site. It seems like they have post plant set up already ready. Kicks with the fault line. Having a flash. And the blast as well, so it's gonna be real hard retaking this.
Throwing everything in the kitchen sink at it, but the paranoia is gonna put just in an awkward position. Cray gets the big trade, comes out immediately from CHIWA. Link and Vong adding to the tally. Kicks eventually finds a pick himself. Loser, the one to deal the killing blow, and just like that, Bouffons have annihilated every single member from BONK, and they get the defuse through in very comfortable timing.
Yeah, for a second there, it seemed like there's not a chance that Petits Bouffons has to enter this site. It seemed like all of the utility were on the side of BONK. They had almost completely the kit of breach. Only one flash drive wasn't there, but still somehow the dash coming in, Laza getting those picks, and even with the Sheriff, like, this guy is so confident he picks a Surf on the first round. He doesn't need any cloud bursts, any updrafts. And now, going for the Vandal. Instantly peeking sewers. And let's see how much he can do with this.
Is BONK ready for this? Because that Vandal is scary to be dealing with. He's got to be able to find his first pick. And even gets that opportunity to go back right to safety. Potentially, he's going to get another pick. But no! Yusser and Kicks punished him so heavily. Reloading right in the open, that was a little bit of an oopsie to say so the least, and the Vandal is immediately gone. A Bonker coming out with the Stinger himself, and Russ was not expecting that either. And just like that, BONK, they get an upgrade. Free.
Absolutely. They force into this round, and Kicks now has a rifle, full shields. Cray knows exactly what is happening. But is it quite enough? Almost similar weapons. BONK having that Vandal over the Bulldog most likely might make the difference. Bonker, oh no, he gets caught off guard. He doesn't know that Petits Bouffons knows.
Yeah, Paranoia is gonna put Kicks in an awkward position, looking to flash out himself. That little safety net, but it's 2 up against 1, but Kicks is not fully aware of the fact that the remaining player, Cray, is so far away, pushing up CT. Just because he comes out on C main, that was not what Kicks was expecting. He had his eyes on CT, pushing up against it, trying to see if there is any way to catch Cray off guard, but that guy is like 10 steps ahead.
Yeah, and that's mind games, because Link has previously smoked C-Long. Kicks is like, no way he's gonna come there. The C-Long is smoked, but Cray walks through the smoke and capitalizes off of that. A little bit shaky on the Stinger, but that's a huge round for Petits Bouffons, because BONK invested into that round. They forced, and even though Petits Bouffons loses 4 players, it doesn't matter. They can force up this and have a comfortable buy coming up into this round, and maybe getting a full buy against BONK's rifles next round.
Yeah, and they even managed to hold on to the Vandal, which I was a little worried about, that they were losing there. It kind of like slipped into BONK's hands, but yep, that's the mind games, but also the communication that was coming out from Link and Cray, just with using that smoke, utilizing it. Ooh, Link forgot the fact that smokes do sometimes go away.
The timing.
Oopsies. It happens. This is 2 oopsies in a row. It's a little sloppy. First, we see Lizard reloading in plain open air while being pushed by 3 members through a short, and now Link crossing over to smoke. Fatigue, potentially? Who knows?
Could be. But BONK, actually great grouping up on the A side. Laza, he's gonna go forward.
He's gonna spot out 1 player. Little is he aware that it's a total of 3. They haven't spotted out Vong just yet. He's gonna be able to get a pick, but that's all he's gonna be good for now.
30 seconds left.
Laza looking to get back to safety because he is blinded, but that blind is gonna affect the rest of BONK as well. Every single member drops, leaving only 1 player. And you blink, you miss it. But Petits Bouffons 3 rounds on the board already. We said Haven could maybe not be their map, but they look very confident on it nonetheless.
Yeah, especially on the 3 first rounds. And they actually lost the Stingers. They pick up the rifles, and now they can fully invest against BONK's guns. Laza even having a Blade Storm makes sure that if they win this round, they will have the operator, and maybe even if they lose, they could probably invest into that. And look at this aggression coming from Ceylon.
Ceylon aggression coming out immediately. They're even going to get flashed though, and that is a little awkward, but it's also going to be a team flash. So if anything, the classic right click from Lozo is going to give him a pick instead. Russ is going to find kicks. BONK are with a trade, but they drop the spike. They need to go pick it up. They're going to spot out Lozo, but he's already, well, almost going to get back to safety. Cider clips his wings eventually. That was an aggressive play from the Bouffons, and they got 2 players from BONK, but they lost 2 of their own.
Yeah, Cray making his way down the window, but there's a trapwire holding him back. Could get some information if there's some steps made. And CHIWA trying to get some players off guard in A. He knows that Killjoy has rotated off. And Le Petit Bouffon, they're on the wrong side of the map. Is CHIWA even gonna go for CT?
He's gonna be able to pick off all the rotations from the Bouffons. They're gambling on the fact that it's still a C pick or even a P push, but instead it's A that is under attack, and they've completely taken control of this.
30 seconds left.
It was open and ripe for the taking, and now the CHIWA just putting up so aggressively onto A Link.
Bomb grenade out.
Yeah, but they should know that they have no control. They should know that the B is lost, A Link is lost.
Will they check for CHIWA? Because Cray is just running around. He doesn't even have his gun out. He's not looking to clear this corner. Neural Theft is going to give away the position of Vong and Link. They're looking to get that pick, but instead it's CHIWA to come out on top. 40 HP left of Link, looking to deal with CHIWA, the man that we said, one of the players you want to be looking out for. 14 HP left, and this is definitely looking like a save angle.
Absolutely. I mean, CHIWA, that is exactly what you see from him in Haven.
Oh, look,
3
he's not
sides,
done yet.
Multiple avenues, and he wants to go for the 3rd one.
He wants Link, but Link seems to be aware as well.
Ooh. Okay.
He gets punished for it, but that's a scary situation to be in as Link.
Yeah, 14 HP. Actually saves out the rifle. This could be a pie for Le Petit Bouffon, and kind of costly round for the side of BONK. Look at the economy. They might have to go for some kind of lower weaponry. Obviously 3 rifles at least. I think 4th one coming through as well. CHIWA is so good with those. Finding the timings, finding the gaps in the defensive side. If you have 3 players alive, CHIWA will most likely exploit that. That is exactly what happened last round.
Cover going out.
2 ults available for BONK though. Cider is going to be able to reposition on the backside if he decides to do so. And Kicks could potentially get them on the side with that full line. It could also make that post plan much easier for them, depending on how they utilize that ultimate. But as of now, it looks like they want to try to displace Link to some extent. They do fail to do so. They're going to be able to scan him out, and that's the full line, allowing every single member to get out the side. Hunter's Fury being used by Vong is not going to connect with anyone. Instead, it's Link and Russ are going to be picking up players one by one. Cray adding up to the tally. 3 members down already from the side of BONK, and they're not done with them just yet. CHIWA and Cider looking to equalize it in terms of numbers as much as they can, but they're the only 2 left. So are Russ and Lozo. But Operator is still yet to find a pick.
Absolutely. Spike still left on the C side, but from the shadows for Cider, so they can retrieve that with ease. They're actually, it's gonna commit to C side as well.
He even has a spike.
Oh, Ross is there. He hears the step.
30 seconds left.
Smokes are gonna cut him off the line of sight from Garage. And Liza is still gonna look to get onto side. He's going for that swing. He wants to displace whoever is planting. He does find CHIWA instead. But he's aware of the position of Cider, so Liza with the operator. Is he gonna upgrade to a Vandal? That's gonna give away his position. Cider unaware of where he's getting approached from, and instead looking to wrap around CT.
Lasso.
Oh, now he knows.
Does he know?
He's already halfway. He's going to rotate back onto CT. He's gonna find the pick. He read him like a book.
What?
Damn.
I mean, Yeah, you hear
Talk about
the
5
farthest step. You hear the teleport, but the commitment to stick it all the way to half. I mean, yeah, that's 5 head. That's 400 IQ. Amazing from Lasse. Not only he's great at shooting heads and bodies with the operator, he's great at clutching out those situations, just reading the enemy like a book. And that sets BONK back on a half buy.
Oh, look, it's Stackty Bear. Why is it in the window? That's sad.
Can't get on.
That's sad. Scoreline at the moment also sad if you are a BONK fan. It feels like they're struggling a little bit with closing out these rounds, even if they do get themselves an advantage. They're not able to snowball and close out the round properly. They get a couple of plants down, but again, it's never been enough for them to actually get a full buy. They're coming onto this with a broken buy and looking to rush all onto C site. Prey is gonna find one, still completely blind though. Doesn't matter, he's gonna find another, Spike's gonna drop, make that a third. Or as MP would say, and another one.
And a friend of mine, DJ Khaled, he's not a friend of mine, but another one.
Yep.
For Cray. And that's a cleanup crew. At first, it seemed kind of shaky. Cray getting flashed all the time. Just not quite connecting those shots, but somehow he's able to get all of the kills and survive. And just cover that side. Cover Russ on the left side. A little bit Bouffons. 5-1. BONK. Now is the time to hit. You have Hunter's Fury. You have Showstopper. You should be able to make a lot of ground in the side. But on the other hand, it's really tough to even use that Hunter's Fury because Petits Bouffons, they have the lockdown. So you don't really want to commit it proactively into this round. Or I guess you want to. I mean,
if you
sure.
get Cray with it, then there's no lockdown either. So it's a win-win, you know. This is the question. Like, if the Hunter's Fury is like the chicken, right, and then the lockdown is the egg, does that mean that because of this round, the chicken was first? No. Okay.
I guess so. But just for this round.
Just for this round, of course. Yeah.
Next round, you won't have any chicken.
Oh, that's sad.
We'll have the egg. But how can you have egg without chicken? I don't know.
They went all the way onto site and rotated back immediately.
It's amazing. Let's fall back completely.
Just to go back for the retake.
I think they're way too scared of this rolling thunder.
Cover going out.
Okay.
I mean, the site. Yeah, there you go. That's the rolling thunder that they're scared of. They do commit to it. They do get the plan down. They do get that rolling thunder out. Even get the showstopper, which is not going to connect with anyone. And this gives Petits Bouffons the upper hand in the retake.
Yeah. It should be... Yep, Cider dealt with. Is there another smoke? Yes, there is. Can they go for the ninja defuse, Lasse? Already getting multiple picks on Petits Bouffons. He might be able to close out this round, but not quite yet.
They still have the camera from CHIWA available. They're able to look at that's taken out immediately. They're going to be tapping the spike. Back and forth they go, and every single member from the side of Petits Bouffons is going to drop. And just like that, BONK is going to be able to secure themselves around. A little interesting, I would say, in terms of the execute. Getting onto site, getting close enough to go for the plant, retreating, going for it again. I think probably Petits Bouffons are just as confused as we were.
Yeah, absolutely. Rolling Thunder is a little bit too late. Cannot quite deny the plant with that. So, for BONK, that's all fine. Still, they're stuck in a tough situation, but somehow they survive. The ninja defuse is not gonna come through this time around. I'm not even quite sure if you call that a ninja defuse when you know they're defusing, but you're just trying to spam it. I guess that could be called a Vamonos defuse, right?
Yeah, I think we'd give it to them, the Vamonos defuse. I think it's nice to associate it with the team. Makes it a little bit more original.
Yep. Good rotations. In terms of BONK getting or putting a lot of pressure onto C long and then actually just being on A side. It seems like Petits Bouffons, they might be ready to pull off. What a proactive Killjoy ult. No way. What? How does he even predict that?
Flushing every single one off the site. Every single one of these players now has to back off. Cray has got himself in a really aggressive position. Maybe a little too overzealous. It gives CHIWA the chance to get that neural theft. Gives a chance to pick up the position of every single player, but also just as much information is available to Petits Bouffons because Cray spotted 5 members pushing out smoke.
Spike planted.
A Link gets one, evening out the odds. The Cypher Cam is dealt with, but a lot of utility still left for the side of BONK. Kick still has a full kit for Breach. You have Paranoia, you have Pain Shells. How are you gonna retake this?
Well, you run onto site and you click heads. Paranoia, that's a good way to start. It's going to give you the opportunity to maybe get some space, the Cloud Burst from Lizu. But then again, you have to deal with the flash. Paranoia coming out from the side of BONK as well. They're just stuck in CT. They're unable to make it out. Vong still manages to get a pick though on CHIWA. It's a great way to start, but with the time ticking, they're going to have to call this save. It's not much else they can do. Took them a little too long to initiate that retake, and just like that, BONK again. They're closing the gap. 2 more rounds for them to actually make this an equal.
Yeah. Good round. Good post plan. That's just holding out with that utility, knowing that the site is clear. Kix doesn't have to use any flashes, any stuns. Actually probably uses the stun committing to the site, but it will recharge. And when BONK is, or Petits Bouffons is ready for that retake, there's just way too much utility to even get onto the site, and they call a timeout. I love, in terms of these two teams, I love how they call timeouts. They do not save them. They're not gonna be like, oh, we could call them next game. You only have 2 timeouts per map. You should call them. If you're struggling, just take the timeout. Yep. And I think Petits Bouffons, BONK even, they're doing it so well.
Yeah, they lose 2 rounds in a row and they think it's enough for a timeout, which, again, as we said it before, great thing to do simply because of how much we've seen momentum build up for teams and them just really running away with it. Even in a lot of the interviews, a lot of these players mention, again, like timeouts, really important. Just get everything back together, figure out how you want to approach it next, because you might not be in a deficit now, but if you let it run for 2-3 more rounds, you're going to try to come back from behind rather than pushing your advantage, and that's a completely different story and mentality to be in.
I'm ready. Turret out.
Stinger coming through for Cray, but full buy for the side of Petits Bouffons. Aside from that, Operator coming in as well, and Laza. He's so far.
Oh, yeah. There is the Cypher Cage. Again, this is going to be a trigger discipline scenario. He's going to get one, wants to get away, but unfortunately, Shorty isn't really going to do much more than that. Oh.
No way! No! Link doesn't miss those. I guess he does.
I guess
that
he
was
does.
A free kill.
Well, not really, was it? That was a free kill. Cray gets CHIWA. He's gonna turn his back on. Jisu also struggling a little bit.
What is happening with this round?
I feel like this is fatigue creeping in on both of these teams because they've been at it for quite a while. It is looking not as clean as we've seen that first map. This is a lot more mistakes creeping in from both of these teams. Also just individual plays maybe not being up to par to what we expect. Link looking to get out some of that util, but instead the nades are gonna stop him. The paint shells are not great to push into. But he's all by himself, up against 3 members. If he's looking to clutch this down, it is an impossible feat to do so, especially with the time ticking. He needs to press that go button. It's now or never. Go for the save or don't. He gets the first. He's gonna have to go for the reload, whips out the classic, tries to run away. Kix is not gonna allow him to do so.
Yeah, BONK played that really well as well, not overextending. I mean, in the end, Bunker couldn't bear it anymore, and he went for it, but at that point, you didn't have time to defuse. That's a tough situation for Laza, because when he takes the shot, that's exactly when he realized that there's more than one player. And if he would have gone with the Operator, gotten 1 kill with that, maybe even collat, he could have gotten away if he took a little bit longer. But it's so hard call to make because the cage is gonna go down.
Yep. Trigger discipline. Beautiful thing to see. And sometimes it doesn't work out the way you might expect it to.
Exactly. Bunker. BONK is completely trying to come into C side, and I think it's a great call.
Yeah, but they do not take into consideration the fact that Prey is already hiding up. They don't even remember to clear out that corner. Hunter's Fury now in as well, throwing that into the mix. He's not going to tag any players out just yet. And Luz is going to be spotted too, looking to get the player who's going for that plant, but instead gets taken out. Bouffons is the only one left. CHIWA with these neural thefts has really been clutching some of these rounds simply because of the fact that Live to Bouffons are taking a while for these rotations.
Yeah, and CHIWA has been on fire, and BONK, they're equalizing odds. 5-5. And this Haven, it started looking really good for Le Petit Bouffons. This matchup, it started looking that Le Petit Bouffons might just go away with it. They might just steal away this map from the side of BONK. All of a sudden, it's BONK who's taking the momentum, they're controlling the map. Le Petit Bouffons, once again, they have the operator. Are they gonna get a kill with this? Are they gonna be able to utilize this? Not at this time.
Link is yet to be spotted. It's a pretty position to be in. BONK, though, seems to be aware of a potentiality. And there you go. Immediately spots out Link. Gives away a little bit of information in terms of B site. This is the first time we're seeing BONK going for that B site. That camera is not going to spot out Russ just yet. But it is going to deter the rest of BONK from actually committing. And therefore, Garage Push seems to be most likely. And if you go into that C site, Cray has that set up.
It's just amazing. They're so good with it. The discipline of Kicks just holding that flank, not allowing anyone to push through B while his team is making pressure right there. And Cray
again. Again, he's gonna be walking into all of them. He's only gonna get 2. That looks a little too close for comfort. But again, spotting out every single one of these players. Vong is going to be the only one on site. He's going to find one. Lizzo is coming. He doesn't need his assistance though. He already has that plant downsider. The only player left. Paranoia displacing a little bit, but Vong stays cool and calm. That's the operator coming through from Lizzo. Vong buying enough time to actually get this rotation all the way from A main to C.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I mean, that was Cider once again. This time around, I'm not quite sure if he would have let that 1v1 situation slip. And Wong is there to make sure that it doesn't happen. They want to keep the odds, and Laza just utilizing that time that Wong has created allows them to win that round. But it all starts in long from Cray getting those 2 kills, softening out CHIWA as well. And this match, it's gonna be a close one for sure. Even when we switch the sides, it's still last round of this half.
Yeah, a bit of a tech pause coming up, but all in all, I think BONK have been doing much better on the attacking side than we initially seen them do so. I think that timeout has really assisted them in terms of figuring out how they want to approach this. Whereas when we're looking at Live to Bouffons, it feels like last round was more mistakes that BONK made that Live to Bouffons was able to capitalize off of, rather than them forcing their hand and giving BONK no chance but to play the game that they dictate the pace of. So that initial aggression that we've been seeing from BONK, from Live to Bouffons, that has given them the opportunity to get a lead, doesn't seem to be still in the equation as of now. It could change again on the attacking side of things, but which, to be fair, historically, the defense for Live to Bouffons on this map is what they're good at. So for them to be struggling on the defense at the moment, that's throwing some question marks into the next half, which we're going to be getting into in like whenever this tech pause decides to be over.
Yeah, but I think still Laza being in that zone that he's able to get those picks is going to be great for the attacking side as well. Just having that jet, especially in Haven, when you have 3 sites, you won't be having so much or so many people holding down those sites. Laza can go for those picks, go for those entries. Obviously, if you go to the side where CHIWA is, it's not going to be that easy, especially with the Cypher setups. And you have a lot of utility surrounding that as well. But I think it tells already a great story that Laza is this strong on defense side. And when he goes to the attacking side, accompanied with all of the utility. This could be great. Laza going for defensive side pick once again. Oh, he's so fast with it.
Yeah, immediately. Round starts. He gets the pick. He wants to create a close range fight because he does have the judge. Using the cloud burst to close some of that gap, even giving Link that opportunity to actually get that close fight. But they're not going to be walking into it. Instead, it's going to be B site. Rolling Thunder coming through. Vong manages to pick up CHIWA along the way. Jusu is going to be in a little bit of an awkward position. Pushed onto the back of site. Vong is not able to spot them out. Hunter's Fury, though, is going to attack Vong. Ooh. That is an awkward situation to be in, but because that's been triggered, Cray is now able to get that lockdown. He doesn't have to worry about it being destroyed anymore. It's going to give them a little bit of time. It's going to displace BONK. Luz is now able to get onto site with the operator if they do decide to push them out. That is something that they can play off of, but again, need to take into consideration the fact that Kick still has that util available, which is a little bit difficult to deal with. Showstopper comes out. Jusu looking to close this round. It's only Les that's already halfway through, but it doesn't feel like they're gonna be able to stick it. They still are able to do so. 7 rounds on the board for Bouffons. That is not a ninja defuse. That is a I'm gonna stick it, and even if you throw a nade at my face, I'm not gonna move kind of defuse. Respectable. Yeah. Respectable.
I mean, great decision making from the side of Jusu. Just instantly wrapping around spawn, going for that C-Link, wrap around, and being able to get 3 kills off of that. In the end, it's not quite enough to win out that round. But I just love the play. I love the play. Getting the Showstopper online as well, acting out on it instantly. But Le Petit Bouffons will be the team that is going to take the lead when switching sides. Pistol round coming up would be crucial for either one of these sides.
Yeah, it's going to give BONK the opportunity to equalize, and it's going to give Le Petit Bouffons the chance to get even closer to those double digits and close this out in a clean 2-0. Cider has an interesting off angle that he's going to be spotted out before he's even able to get back to safety. Let's make sure that that's not going to happen.
Small mistake. Opens up the A side quite heavily, but there's full-on rotates coming through already. 4 players waiting on the side. Is it quite enough? It seems like it is. BONK just dominating this side. And it will be CHIWA who takes out the last 2 kills. Insanely like fast rotations coming through and just full-on committing to that A side in terms of defensive side is so huge for BONK because they lose the advantage instantly. They have to go down to 4 versus 5 situation, but they have all 4 players in that side. A lot of utility and gun power coming through, and Le Petit Bouffons just have to go for a save.
Oh, this is my best.
Yep. It's also very easy when Cider has spotted out all 5 members pushing out the smoke, relaying that information back to the team, giving them the opportunity to actually get those rotations in time. Very crucial for BONK, and it has worked out in their favor. No forces though, except Liza and the Marshal. Le Petit Bouffons are not looking to make the same mistake that BONK did, where they forced a second round, they lost it, they were stuck in a bit of a negative limbo.
Oh, Boombot taken out quite quickly. But yeah, when you don't get the spike down, there's no way you should force. It's a marginal of cases where you could even force. I think BONK, I think is he spotting or has he crashed? He's spotting. Okay. I was concerned for a second.
No,
but
understandable. He is in a little bit of an awkward position. He's gonna be able to get back to safety, but still, that drone is gonna spot all 5 members. He's pushed all the way back onto A-Link. It looks like Heaven is where it's at. Like, BONK have all 4 members on there. Ooh.
One enemy remaining.
I mean, BONK just cleaning the table right here. I don't think I've ever seen like a 4-person Heaven retake coming down, but it works. The utility is great. Just getting those angles down. Amazing damage coming from the side of Laza. There's not a single person on the side of BONK that has any shields left. 7-7. BONK is able to close it out and equalize the odds. Amazing pistol round coming through. Second round closing it out. And 4 Bulldogs invested for the side of BONK. Kicks even juggling with the rifles.
Okay. I like it. They're going a little bit more aggressive. Aggression has been paid off a lot in terms of BONK's performance here tonight. Every round that they went a little bit more aggressive than Bouffons might have expected them to, it has played out in their favor, and the aggression so far has given them a chance to stitch a couple of rounds together, close that gap, because remember, it was like 4 or 5 rounds to 1.
Yeah. It was a crazy good lead.
Yeah, and it's all gone.
It's all gone. I mean, they can make it back to there.
Maybe.
But I think BONK, in terms of defending side, they've always looked fairly good. They do these aggressive plays as well, not this round, but it still pays off. Kicks able to get that first kill down.
They do get the plant down. But again, Bouffons on the attack not as strong as their counterpart. Their defense was definitely stronger. So Link does found a pick, but Jusu, again, unaccounted for in the back of side. They didn't even clear him. He gets 3 picks for free. That's absolutely disastrous. Make it 4.
Okay.
Team Bouffons are just falling apart.
They only had Bulldogs and 1 Marshall there.
Yeah.
That's a great round.
They only need
BONK.
Jusu in a corner to not be cleared and give this man a Bulldog and a nade.
Yeah.
And he will do things that you do not expect are legal in a game of Valorant.
Yeah, I mean, we were already highlighting Juzo from that first map. 27 kills in Fracture with that raise. I mean, I'm not surprised that he's popping off here. I'm not surprised. A little bit late in terms of... I was thinking that Juzo is gonna pop off instantly at the start of this game. But it doesn't matter if it's later in this half, because it's just destroying Le Petit Bouffon. It's just dominance.
Dominance all around. BONK on the defense, they look much stronger than what we've seen from the Petits Bouffons. I think their rotations are coming through much quicker. They're much better at playing their retake. They're getting a little bit of unexpected angles. And if anything, the Petits Bouffons are getting sloppy. They're not cleaning corners that they're supposed to be cleaning. You're supposed to check the back of sight. There can always be someone there.
Yep, Juzo being kind of slippery with that race as well. Just double assassin in and doing a lot of those weird, funky stuff that if you go do it yourself in a game, it's never gonna work.
Don't say that. Don't give people false hope.
Right.
Don't ruin hopes and dreams.
You have to practice.
And you're going to practice in your game, so therefore, do it.
30 seconds
It's not in my game.
Exactly. 25 seconds. And I think Le Petit Bouffon, they're going to get the spike down, just waiting to get good positions for this post plant. And the spike is there.
Yeah, Long is there too. He's going to find one. Was looking good, but with the flash from Kicks, was not able to get more than that. Haven this time. Heaven being cleared. Heaven on Haven is being cleared. Surprise. Russ still has some of that util. It's going to make it very difficult for them to push on from CT, but when you have CHIWA on the Vandal, that's an impossible player to be dealing with. They're just going to drop out straight down from window, and they're taking your round.
Yeah. I mean, BONK, they had the weapon advantage right there. Le Petit Bouffon, even getting that spike plant down is a huge win for them. Getting that extra money, possibly doing something later on in the stages of this game in terms of economy. I think that's great. But with the way how BONK has been doing these retakes, I don't think there was a chance. Even though if the utility would have been perfect for Le Petit Bouffon, with those guns, no chance. They up in for a timeout, which I think is great. They have Hunter's Fury, gun round coming up. BONK has been taking this momentum 4 rounds in a row. you just have to call for the timeout.
Yep. It's a matter of how do you want to approach this round, because we've seen them come into rounds with buys multiple times, and it still doesn't work out in their favor, regardless of whether or not BONK is on a better or a worse buy. And that's a concerning situation to be in, especially for the Bouffons, and how big of a lead they had initially. You're looking at this, and it feels like it was dominant from BONK from the start, but the Bouffons, they've gotten 2 rounds, whereas BONK have gotten a total of 8.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely demolishing for the morale.
Goes here. That goes there. Oh, this is a nice spot.
I mean, I was talking about Laza. I think he's gonna pop off in the attacking side, but I haven't quite seen him. I don't think he has gotten a single kill. And picking up that operator, it's a risky play, especially on the attacking side. You're basically counting on that you can find a pick. And it seems like there's no one on the receiving end on C side. Could push in mid, it might pay off. No, doesn't quite.
No, Vong's gonna get hit with that paranoia. Hunter's Fury also displacing him even further. A bit of a tag on Vong, to be completely honest, but again, 70 HP is not a terrible situation to be in. It could be worse.
Yep. Ross getting tagged as well. And Petits Bouffons, they do not have any control of this map. They have lost everything. There could be player mid, could be player deep in A. Just have to clear out every corner. But meanwhile, Laza has gotten some targets on the C side. It seems like neither one of them are gonna overextend. They're not gonna pick him. And CHIWA has an operator of himself as well.
Yep. The information gathering from the Bouffons has been so poorly on the attacking side. They're grasping at straws. It feels like a lot of the time it's just a matter of, okay, let's just try and see if this is going to work. Will it stick? Will it not? They go just throwing that showstopper immediately straight at their faces. And the Bouffons, yeah, Russ giving away his position so early. Cider immediately able to go back, get that peak. That double digits here, very well deserved from BONK, because I know that they have just taken a timeout, but if anything, it felt like after that timeout, it is going worse for them rather than better.
Yeah, and BONK, they're starting to dominate. It feels like CHIWA is always on the right place. They have great plans in terms of, like, last round aggression. The mid push, I love to see that. I think we saw that a little bit coming from the side of Petits Bouffons, but it was usually a sole player pushing down mid, going for that pick. And BONK, they're sending 2 players down the line. Having that aggression right there, they cannot quite find a pick off of that, but that is exactly what I want to see in Haven. And I think a comfortable team in Haven will always do that, like from round to round. And Cider, once again, gonna find a pick, aggression.
7 rounds in a row, putting it into perspective how dominant BONK has been. They have found 7 rounds back to back to back. And I don't really know at this point what Petits Bouffons have left in the chamber to be able to hit back at what BONK is throwing at them. And even now coming into this with a less than optimal buy, BONK are running away with a lead that potentially at the beginning we didn't expect them to take at all. Again, Petits Bouffons get as close as to getting the plant down, but then it moves into that post-planting position, and these are the kind of things, these small mistakes that we haven't seen from them in last map, but they're coming through now, and BONK is playing off of them so incredibly well. They don't feel the need to push into Petits Bouffons. They're happy to let Petits Bouffons make their own mistakes, and this is another post-plant, unfortunately, for Petits Bouffons that did not really go as planned.
That could have been dangerous, but with only Seraph, Wong is not able to get a second pick. I think that post plant was really good for Petits Bouffons. They were trying to make something out of it, pushing up to heaven. Laza just, I think that is shown from Laza, like he's not too confident right now. He's looking this corner multiple times. He's spinning around in heaven and then smoking. Meanwhile, I mean, it's a great timing from BONK to swing at that time and get that clearance out of heaven. But I think Le Petit Bouffons, they have decent ideas, but I think it's just not quite there. They cannot quite execute them perfectly.
Yeah, BONK is reading into them as well, but this is the route, right, for
Yeah.
the Bouffons. They have the buy, they have the ultimates available, they can make this possible. Rust coming through with the counter Rolling Thunder. It's gonna cancel each other out, so neither one of these teams is gonna get an advantage off of it, but again, it's not forcing the Bouffons to be in an awkward situation. They are gonna be able, however, to spot out Laza. He's gonna go for the updraft, negating a little bit of that utility that's been thrown at him. The flash comes out from Rust, but it still kicks to be the one to get the pick instead. This is that confidence that you're talking about, MP. It's not looking like, at least for this map, it's not looking to be in the Petits Bouffons' favor.
Yeah, no. And BONK, they're playing great. They're playing amazing Valorant right now. Even the aggressive push with the Rolling Thunder forces Le Petit Bouffons to use one of their own. And now having the advantage, they're not overextending. That's waiting inside. CHIWA. Oh, gets taken out.
30 seconds left.
Cray does manage to get a pick with kicks. Put the kicks on the breach and not on the Viper, and look what this man does.
Remaining.
It's an absolute tear. Cray on a tear himself, but still a couple too many. And BONK, they are on match point.
Match point.
Once again,
Third mapper.
I mean, CHIWA gets taken out of that side, but BONK is just there to trade. They are ready to take those kills, take those duels, and then they win out them. Like Juzu, even with the operator coming in as like close quarters, pulling up the shorty, then finishing it up with the operator. I love the confidence that BONK is displaying, and like you said, it's gonna be a third mapper, most likely. 5 rounds to go for Le Petit Bouffons. They could still come back, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, Hunter Sphere is starting it off pretty strong. Vaughn looking to get a couple of picks, but it allows Lizard to get onto a link. He's yet to be spotted out. Still has all 5 of his knives available. Bonkar's not going to be spotting him out either. He's going to have an opportunity to get into heaven.
Wait.
But what is he going to find with this? He's going to find Bonkar.
No way he didn't spot Cider.
He did not. Link on B. It's doing quite a lot, and that is a lockdown. Again, they now have it available. 2 players only left from the side of the Petits Bouffons. Cider unaccounted for. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Cider, we get it. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. Don't worry about it.
Wait. Look at Juzu. Is he gonna go for it? No
It's
way.
already on that spike. He is the
Okay,
last player standing. He has that operator. It's gonna be ticking down, so they don't have to invest any more. But that was scary. Ooh, he loses the operator too. A little too late. A couple of milliseconds earlier.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, they have good economy. They have almost max money at this point. Great strat coming in from Le Petit Bouffons. I think a little bit overzealous with the lockdown. Sure. At that moment, it was a good investment when Cray pressed left click. But right as he presses that left click, Link gets 2 kills and the lockdown is no longer needed in that round. But still, even securing out that round is great for Le Petit Bouffons. But BONK, once again, aggressive, pushing from C long, holding down A long as well. Just controlling the map really well.
Shadows traveling. Shadows traveling.
This time around, B for some reason has been the most successful site for the Petits Bouffons. Although, without taking into consideration the fact that they forgot to clear out
Spike planted.
Juicy for one of those rounds. But again, they get as far as the plant, and now the post plant is the one that matters the most. Liz is starting things off strong. Already Cider taken out, and Russ with the trade as Link gets taken out by CHIWA. Bonkar coming out, but these steps are going to be heard. Just to displace himself a little bit, but still, it's Russ to be winning this trade. What has just happened in these last 2 rounds? Le Petits Bouffons dictating every single pace. I
Last
guess
2
pressure.
rounds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pressure.
abusing B side and going to A link from that is something that BONK is not used to. They do not know how to combat this situation. And now mean, when they don't know what to do, they pull out the timeout. And it's a great call. Le Petits Bouffons, they have been abusing that twice in a row now.
Yeah.
And BONK, they want to make sure that it's not going to happen again.
I mean,
it's
also
so hard to retake that A-link.
Also for BONK is the fact that 3 ults are in play. How can you use these 3 ults to prevent A-link from being taken completely under control by Le Petits Bouffons? They're rushing onto that B site. Can already tell CHIWA seems to be setting up on B instead. But by the positioning from Le Petits Bouffons, B isn't even what they're going for at the moment. It is still going to be A site. They're swapping it. They're changing it up a bit.
Yeah, could be. Also, there's a possibility where they use B-link, or A-link rather, to come from B-link and split up onto A. Hey, tables have turned. They're looking for C. I think they should have a hunch that there might be someone walking on C long, because there's been multiple rounds, but Jusu with the operator.
He's gonna be forced off of this position, so that high ground that they had initially going on, but Loser just running onto the site. Russ finds him. This is an incredible change of pace, but they still check it.
Huh?
They still check it. And CHIWA is gonna come flying out of garage. Is gonna get 2 players because they didn't have their guns out. It's gonna drop that spike, but still, Le Petits Bouffons are in the driver's seat. They have an advantage, not anymore, as Kicks take out Lazza. He's looking to get that flash out.
Enemy remaining.
It's now Cray up against Bonkar. Hunter's Fury deployed. He has 6 bullets left in the chamber. He is aware of the position, and Cray is the one to come out on top. Double digits secured for Le Petits Bouffons. 2 more rounds is all they need if they want to push this to overtime.
9 HP.
Absolute change in pace from this team. Incredible.
It is. I think Le Petits Bouffons, they were like, okay, we're thinking way too much. Let us go. Let's just go to the site. And it works. That could have been pretty bad when CHIWA finds those 2 picks. But gets rated out. Eventually. And BONK, they do not have money to go for a full buy. It's gonna be a half buy. Russ has a rolling thunder. Lazza has an operator. He's gonna go for the pick.
Don't want to go for it too quickly, but Kick's position in the same place where we saw Jusu earlier. This is where Jusu managed to get not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 picks. He's gonna be spotting out 1. But Lazza's gonna throw out that warning shot, get back onto safety. Meanwhile, Jusu and BONK are pushed so aggressively onto A, both A main and A short. It's a scary day for Le Petits Bouffons if they decide to rotate to A.
Yeah. Good for Le Petits Bouffons, getting a lot of utility out of that kit, of the Omen, getting that paranoia, but Jusu so far. Boom.
Oof.
Not quite.
Kick is gonna find the first one. But going on to the back of site, Link has not really gotten much of that information. Both him and Side are using their ult simultaneously to try
30 seconds
figure out where
left.
to push next. Cray looking to hold on to this B-Link. Rolling Thunder is going to give them opportunity to get onto side. Luzu is completely aware of the flank coming out, Neural Theft. And they're even able to completely run away and just not get affected by this Rolling Thunder.
But look at the second flank coming through. This could be way too much for the side of Le Petits Bouffons. And 5 seconds on the clock. Link is the only one alive. Not anymore. And BONK, they will take out this map. They will secure a third one.
We're going
and it's gonna
all
be
the
Ascent.
way to Ascent to figure out who's gonna be the winner here from Le Petits Bouffons up against BONK. Now that map specifically, again, it feels a little bit more like a repeat from what we've seen on Fracture. Both of these teams going head to head, some of them getting the lead, then losing the lead and getting it again. It was really close, and unfortunately for Le Petits Bouffons, they're not able to push this one to overtime. But at least we have another map coming your way.
Absolutely. So close. Both of these first 2 maps, and I think Ascent is gonna go the same way. It's very unlikely that either one of these teams will take the lead in Ascent. I think there's definitely a case to say that Le Petits Bouffons, they might have not had Lazza in this map that well online as he was on Fracture, but you cannot keep on relying on this one player. And I think they had a great chance without Lassa popping off, going for those highlights. In the end, I think they had a really decent chance to win out this map and make it to OT. But I think it was Juzu. Juzu was way too much, and BONK overall just having a really solid performance, especially on the defensive side. Not really giving anything out for Le Petit Bouffons.
Yeah, Le Petit Bouffons eventually find a way to dictate the pace. They speed it up a little, they're just running onto site, they're clearing out the corners, but it took them a little too long to get there. BONK at that point had already been running for like 8 rounds in a row, and I think when you lose 8 rounds in a row, you're not really at the most optimal position to be able to win a map. So it's a matter of dusting things off, shaking it off, going on to Ascend, and figuring out how that can be the map that you secure this series on, whether that is for BONK or for Le Petit Bouffons. Both of these teams are equally skilled and they're both able to get that win. CHIWA, we highlighted him before this game even started and said how in Fracture maybe was a little lackluster and we wanted to see more of him, so he gave us exactly what we wanted, and that also gave BONK a pretty solid lead.
I mean, for me, CHIWA is always a guy to follow, especially in Haven. We highlighted him prior to coming to Haven, said that he's probably gonna pop off, he's probably gonna find those lurks, and that's exactly what he did. I think it was round 3, round 4, something like that, and CHIWA was already making plays down in A side, finding that space for the whole team and getting amazing kills. And even though we highlight just getting multiple individual kills, individual highlights, I think CHIWA is definitely that kind of guy who makes the work kind of underground. Yeah, he obviously has highlights as well, but I think he's just chipping down the enemy team mentality. It's just going for those lyrics, finding those picks on rotations, and always amazing to see a Cypher performing. I mean, when you're on the opposite side, not so much, but still amazing what CHIWA can do.
Well, if you want to see more of what CHIWA can do, we have a third map coming your way, and that is going to be the final one, which will be Ascent, right up after the break.